Дорогі друзі, запрошую вас приєднуватися у великому залі для старту нашої події, сьогоднішньої зустрічі з командою швейцарсько-українського проєкту «Згуртованість та регіональний розвиток України». Чекаємо на вас у великій залі для того, аби ми могли стартувати. Дорогі друзі, у ролі...
Dear friends, this is the third and final call. Please join our meeting in the big hall of Makpao space so that we can start and we can discuss the changes which are created by the people who came together here. From the ideas to change, implementation of grant program clusters of recovery. Dear friends, now officially I would like to welcome you here. I would like to welcome the inspired people who were competing, who have been competing, who have achieved their right to implement the projects. I welcome you today, the team of Swiss-Ukraine project, Cohesion and Regional Development of Ukraine, UCORD, welcomes you on the event From Idea to Change, start of implementation of the grant program Clusters of Recovery. The event is devoted to the beginning of implementation of projects in the field of culture and creative industries that have received the grant support within the Clusters of Recovery program. The projects will be implemented in 6 pilot oblasts. The geography is wide: Vinnytsia, Volyn, Odesa, Sumy, Ternopil and Khmelnytskyi oblasts. My name is Alexei Anano. Today I have the honor and I'm grateful to organizers for involving myself to be with you during this day, to learn even more about your achievements and about what will be implemented in Ukrainian cultural sector. First of all, let me remind you that the event was organized within a Swiss-Ukrainian project, Cohesion and Regional Development of Ukraine, UCORD. This program is implemented, this project is implemented with support of Switzerland via Swiss Development Agency and cooperation by a company, NIRAS Sweden AB. And before we have the contentful discussion, we need to underline certain things. Those are safety rules. In particular, we understand this night also reminded us that the signals of air alert is our daily reality. We can hear the same signal even here in this room if we do. And if we hear it, this will be a long, loud signal. We shall have to move into the shelter because this particular premises is not a shelter. I will show you the direction. It's 2 floors below. Over here you can see the sign, the road sign, and over here behind the curtain there is an entrance to the staircase which will take you 2 floors below to the shelter. We need to take care of our safety, of the safety and security of everyone, because we need to implement those things which we have dreamed about and we have planned. In order to view the agenda of the event, to understand what is happening, to understand what is the procedure, where to concentrate the attention, I suggest that you scan the QR code on the reverse of your badges, and you will see the full agenda of the event. With that said, of the organizational things, also together with us, in our heart and in our memory, that's gratitude to all the defenders, male and female, thanks to whom we have this opportunity to have this event in the city of Kyiv. We have the opportunity to implement the projects in different regions and oblasts which participate in this program. Therefore, I request with a minute of silence to commemorate those who gave their lives, sacrificed their lives while defending us. Dear friends, thank you very much indeed. Glory to heroes, glory to those who are not with us and who will remain in our memory and in our heart. In order to start, I would like to invite for the welcoming address the Deputy Minister for Culture and Strategic Communications and also Digital Development and Digital Transformation and Digitalization, Anastasia Bonda. Anastasia, you're welcome. Here is a microphone. I just stay for a minute because we have a special help and a special occasion. It's Anastasia's birthday today, and I would like, on your behalf, on behalf of the organizers, to welcome her. Thank you very much indeed for your work, and also for the sector, for taking care of the sector, which often for many is in the end of information list, but which, as we know, is in the beginning. Therefore, we would like to welcome you, and you have the floor. Thank you very much indeed, dear colleagues, dear partners. I'm happy to see all of you today, as today we are meeting our counterparties and communities I would like this meeting to be not really official. I would like it to be really friendly, saying how well are we united. Yesterday we marked the day of embroidery shirt, and we saw how the country was full of those patterns, and we all have been united in our deep attitude to our history, our memory, and our culture. It seems to me that on the fourth year of the full-scale invasion, we all understand that just symbols are not sufficient, and we need very particular and clear actions. And those actions, of course, during the entire period are being implemented by our country, including that with the help of our partners, the international ones, starting new services, technology development, accessibility of digitalization, quite many other great initiatives which take our country to the global leaders in certain directions. And I really would like to that this active development also promotes the development of the culture, of course. In the ministry, we are now preparing, and we hope, a very successful initiative named Culture for Recovery, of how culture can be represented in the recovery. And I believe that today's project and today's presentation is a great synergy of what we are going to present and the first steps of particular and specific actions when the communities come together with civic initiatives, when the partners support and understand that every speech or every second speech in the country is that the war is not about the territory, it's about the culture, identity and history. Therefore, in our daily work, in our reconstruction, we need to underline those directions. When we recover, when we rebuild, and we think of construction, infrastructure development, education and services, we need to think of how can we represent our identity, our history and culture in every project. It's not just about the recovery of cultural heritage, also implementation of services and on how to create such a civic synergy of the society which would unite the community and make it the one where people would like to return. Today we need to compete with all European countries where our people went. We understand that we need to create a much higher, this is a build back better principle. We need to create something which indeed will encourage, not force, but encourage the people who have left to return back, will encourage the other people, the foreigners from throughout the world to visit our country, not just to have a look at the ways of our war, also the richness of our culture and cultural heritage. Also, we would like the culture to become finally part of the economic development, a part of the unity of communities, a part of the basis and sustainable development that we really need, that we become even more prosperous in the peacetime after our victory. I would like to thank the partners, UCORD, and communities and civic organizations for their activity, their actions, the courage over this time to do what really becomes the basis of our victory. Thank you, Anastasia. It's also symbolic, the way is symbolic of our today's conference participants to the room where we went, due to the place which is an evidence of the horrors of the war. This place survived through the attack of Russian missiles, and yet here, as I walked through places which have been cleaned up, and yet bear the traces of this attack, we speak of recovery. The culture is capable to fill those gaps, cracks and wounds, and you can prove that with projects. And today we speak of their future, and I would like to invite the senior coordinator of the programs of the Embassy of Switzerland to Ukraine, Madam Ilona Postemska. Good morning, dear friends. I cannot see you all due to the lights. Yet I can see that you are quite many. On behalf of the Embassy of Switzerland, I would like to extend my greetings from the ambassador, from Deputy Head of Mission, who now went to Rivne Oblast. They traveled to Lviv Oblast. You can see that Switzerland always is present locally. Our embassy and the members of our team never stay in Kiev only. We work with communities and we work with the regions. And our today's event is actually as the implementation of the principles of Switzerland that we follow with our great team, a large team, and that we are trying to develop jointly with our partners, the regions and the communities. Most probably, many of you know that Switzerland was one of the first partners which has supported decentralization. We began to speak of decentralization before it became the mainstream. And when we have worked on the reform of decentralization and the reform of local government, and also we accessed the peak of the reform, which is 2019-2020, we understood that this is a very important stage of reform which comes to its end. We need to find a new topic that would help us to push through, to give the impulse to some new capabilities and new development. Then, while communicating to government representatives, we understood that such a topic is regional development. Because decentralization did not give a possibility to communities, gave possibilities to the communities, but not all of them have fully used those opportunities, those capabilities. Where they had wonderful leaders, there the process was developing very quickly. However, for the others, some support is needed. And that support is really focusing on the level of the regions, the regional governments. Therefore, we chose this level that we can implement one of our most complicated projects, which is UCORD project. Quite often we hear what's a strange project is that why it combines water supply, culture, and the Agency for Regional Development. Because we answer this question every time. The development is not possible in separated sectors. So the development is about the integration, about communication of different communities which in their real life probably have no possibility to find a place for communication. And with UCORD, we created a site for multi-sectoral communication. As it was discussed by Anastasia in the right way, culture must be always a throughput topic. The development and culture are the magnets which might go hand by hand and stimulate development. For Ukrainians, culture is always a basic need. When we speak of the recovery, of reconstruction, and the international counterparts say, well, we need to focus on the basic needs, and the basic needs, education, healthcare, accessing services. And culture for Ukrainians became the basic need, and this is a driving force which gives us the capacity and which strengthens our resilience as a society. And the culture and the communities, culture and the regions is the fabric which puts together, which brings people together, which creates cohesion. Today is the beginning of our great program, and it will be discussed in detail by Marina. I will be happy to give her the floor. And yet, to all of you, our communities, our new partners, I would like to wish a lot of energy, a lot of capacity and creativeness. You are great as you have passed through this complicated way of a very harsh selection with participation of international experts. And now ahead of you, there is also the hard way of implementation of the projects. And we shall be very happy to visit each of your regions and to have a look and to feel the drive that you put into your projects. Therefore, I wish you success. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Ilona. Shall we applause? Very important things have been discussed by Ilona. Thank you very much indeed. I would like to thank Switzerland and the partners, our international partners who stay next to us. And several things, several notes, which was discussed already, to encourage, not to force, not just to give support and to give the cash, also to find the points where it becomes most efficient, where it may support growth, of course, to stay beside and provide support, provide care. Of course, UCORD is doing it. We cannot imagine this program without its leader, Marina Brill, and we give her the floor. Thank you very much indeed. Indeed, I have the great honor. It's a complicated, complex, and sometimes strange project of UCORD. And today we speak of one of the components of this project, which is social cohesion via culture and via creative industries. Also, I would like to shortly discuss what this initiative is about, of recovery clusters from ideas to change. I would like to make a connection with what Anastasia said before about synergy. We have even greater synergy than you have discussed in your speech. Because generally this grant program, Clusters of Recovery, was initiated by our former employee, who is currently the employee of the Ministry for Culture, Marina Kulinic. Therefore, we have great synergy, and we are happy that we have an even greater connection than we had before in the beginning. Generally, this program, thanks to Marina, is complicated, like the UCORD project is complicated. It took place in two stages. The first stage was selection of the concepts and ideas and projects that we would like to implement together. And we have received 46 applications with the ideas and project concepts from 46 applicants. I would like to say, especially, I would like to thank our agencies, their partners, their regional development agencies, who were the first bridge of the entrance for entering, for discussing, for dissemination of information about this program, for providing advice in preparing the concepts for the partners, to support the partners, for connection with UCORD in order to maximize the project presentation, to do it in the best possible way. Not all 43 came to the second stage because we had very serious commission consisting of 3 national experts and international experts. Those are practitioners with a lot of experience of implementation and preparation of projects, also in the field of cultural development, historical development, tourist development. Therefore, only 23 applications have been invited to the next stage, the second stage of filing the full project application. And again, the regional development agencies have been quite helpful to all the applicants as a result. And also after the individual interviews, we had 8 projects. Today we can speak of 8 projects which will be implemented jointly with UCORD and jointly with regional development agencies, because they remain to be responsible. They will continue providing consultancy services, also moral support, possibly, because on those projects have great responsibility. What are we discussing? Those are diverse projects. There are projects of tourism, itineraries of police, and also the projects which are about creating the virtual museums, and the projects about modern marriage fashion of Khmelnytskyi area, wedding ceremony fashion of Khmelnytskyi Oblast, recovery of Sumy Oblast. If I can say this, today I received a great gift from the Agency of Regional Development of Sumy Oblast. This is just the first copy. I have the honor to be first to receive this gift. I'm really grateful. This is a catalog of craft businesses of Sumy Oblast, and from Monday, as I understand, there will be the full issue, the full publication. Our agencies will receive their copies, and yet those are the things. With the help of such projects and all the projects that we expect today, from the idea to change, are the projects that help us all to come together. Via such projects, we speak the language of culture and cultural heritage, the language of history. And it confirms once again that we are alive, that we exist, that we hold strong, we keep strong, and we come together around our victory, our future, that our children will grow in the peaceful country, who will be proud of their country. Because those people who were forced to leave their homes would return. I am proud that within our project we have such initiatives that we shall implement together. However, to find out who became the winners, I would like to announce all those projects, and I would like to invite the person to do it, who was critically important for this initiative, including today's event. There is a big team of UCORD projects which is working on it. I would like to thank the leader of the component of social cohesion via culture, Anna Bakachuk. Anna, please have the floor. It was the quick idea which came yesterday evening. I was proposed to announce a winner, like on the Oscar prize ceremony from Vinnytsia Regional Development Agency of the Association of Territorial Communities, with the project The Renaissance of Crafts, development of rural territories of Vinnytsia via innovation, culture, heritage, and tourism. That's a long name. From Volyn Oblast, the winner is a civic organization, the city of Reload, Polisia, creating economic community with Reload in the Polisia area, north of Ukraine area. From Odesa Oblast, a civic organization, Odesa Wow, the tourism creative cluster, the Milky Way. From Sumy Oblast's agency, Creative Sumy Oblast, with the project, the cluster of Creative Sumy Oblast. From Ternopil Oblast, in some oblasts, we had two projects, Vinnytsia Prize, the Center, Civic Organization, Center for Development of Initiative in Source, Vistas Bruch, the heritage of the old frontier. And the civic organization, youth organization, Youth is the Future of Ukraine, with the project Warm Podillia District, New Cultural Ways. Khmelnytskyi Oblast, the Society of Chairmans of Khmelnytskyi Oblast, Creative Hub on Khmelnytsk Manufacturing. And civic organization Expert Alliance, Ukrainian wedding cloths, and the project is wedding ceremony fashion. I am grateful to the teams We have been with them, as we understood, who have been selected, and they have prepared today's presentations. I wish you personally the inspiration in the implementation. I sincerely believe that together, jointly, we shall make such projects, the ones which will have the real impact on development of culture and development of regions and social cohesion. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Hanna. Your applause towards Anna Bokachuk, your gratitude, and your welcoming applause. Also important ceremonial and also working moment, because we shall discuss the content of the projects, which will the block where representatives of selected initiatives will present what actually will be implemented while they are getting prepared. I would like to request you to participate in a small joke. The clusters of recovery, the clusters of renaissance is a direction and the grand project. Therefore, we shall discuss the renaissance. Shall we speak the high renaissance? Those artists who then were creating and working, they did not think of themselves that it's a renaissance. And we know from the historical distance on the screen, we expect the QR code. And I propose that you are using the QR code and you respond in a small survey. You can enter with your phone and think what kind of Renaissance artist you are. If you make the Renaissance, we can compare ourselves with someone. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Botticelli, or Raphael, we can choose. Not Ninja Turtles. We speak of the older times. Leonardo da Vinci's ideas actually are very actively appearing, and our brains also operate very actively. Michelangelo, full of dramatism and creativity. Of course, in our life, 100%. Botticelli, I'm flying in my dreams. Maybe you can choose this one. And Raphael, calmness and internal balance.
Уже з'являються, ми можемо
We can now have the replies, we can see the results. I thought, whom could I be? Maybe for myself, I would choose Botticelli. I just imagine those seashells and the clouds, something nice, what is not achievable these days. And what is necessary is that the brain works in turbo mode. Therefore, most are choosing this variant. Then we shall find a confirmation of it in your presentations, in your projects that have achieved the victory. And they were selected by the experts, Ukrainian and international ones. And today we shall learn more. Maybe we are in a privileged position compared to those communities who will be now living within those projects. They will be making the use of them. Shall we move to the most interesting part of our meeting, the initiatives of the Renaissance clusters who have won in the open competition and will receive the financial support, and what is also important, the mentorship support for the implementation of their projects, because the methodology of implementation and the experience which already exists, which can be made use of, which can optimize our work, that's very important. As we are pressed for time, I will be tight. It's 7 on the screen, we expect 5. I will request now that we correct this number, because 5 minutes will be for those who will present the program. I will also take the phone and will follow the time. Please be not offended. I will remind you that the time is coming to the end. Therefore, we would like to hear all of the details about absolutely everyone, about every initiative, about each of the presenters, each of the participants who are proposing them. I will remind in a minute before the end of the presentation, and also finally you can cope with that. And we are now all ears. I give the floor to Evgenia Bystritska, member of the board of the organizations agency, creative agency of Sumy Oblast. Evgenia, there is a clicker that you can also use. Good morning, I represent civic organizations, a creative agency of Sumy Oblast. Our civic organization was created in the beginning of the year 2022 with a team of professionals in the field of culture and creative industries who had the dream. We dreamed to create the cluster of creative people of Sumy Oblast. And today we are grateful to UCORD project that our dream came true. I expect your applause. We are the team of professionals and also the team which has stable partner relations nearly with all communities of Sumy Oblast. While working on this project, we have invited to our initiative and our project, we have invited three communities, Konotop, Krolevets, and Putivl. And this was caused by quite many factors. First of all, geographic location. All those three communities are in Konotop district. Those communities have great potential, landscape, historical, human. Those are the communities is good to work with. And also those communities have a very powerful historical background, have their magnets. Everybody knows the towels from Krolevets. In Putivl, Yaroslavna, a princess was crying. Everybody knows of Konotop. And we all decided to make our dream a reality. And we had the objective to create an effective model formation of tourism ecosystem based on instruments of creative business and also the human potential which will work on recovery of Sumy Oblast. And we have 5 objectives: to create a network of development of creative industries. And the second thing is to unite and teach creative communities to monetize their creativity. Number 3, to strengthen the partnership of creative communities, to open up, unlock the potential of the communities, to form the regional cultural and tourism ecosystem, to multiply the effect, to create practical manual of our success stories that other communities of Sumy will also create. After the end of our project, the centers of development of creative industries is a super idea, super task of ourselves. What we expect from it, those are 3 centers of development of creative industries, not just physical spaces, also the place full of sense, also the place where full of creative ideas. Creative communities or partner communities have been formed about partnership, about education, because in our project there is online educational and offline educational component. Therefore, we would like to create the maps of local identity. The communities must work together to create and reinforce each other, to create the maps of local identity. I believe that this will be a unique effect and unique practice. Also stable partnership relations and business relations between creative communities. As the war will end, everything has beginning and end. Agricultural Sumy area will cope, will recover for a long time after this full-scale war. I believe that creative industries have most power. I believe this project will become an impulse for further economic growth of our territories. And we shall say, Sumy Oblast is Ukraine, Ukraine will win, Ukraine is best, it will live forever, glory to Ukraine. We still have 40 seconds. Even ahead of schedule. Thank you very much for this quick presentation, thank you for the inspiration. Probably someone will be grateful to Evgenia because she saved some time for you. Very good rhetoric skills. This made me happy. And I hope for the same skilled implementation of the project in Sumy Oblast. I invite Ivan Namriga, head of the Center of Development of In-Source Initiatives from Ternopil Oblast. I would like to welcome you. I have a unique opportunity to discuss our project, Vista's Bruch, Heritage of the Old Frontier. It was developed by a civic organization, a Center of Development of Initiative in-source, in cooperation with 4 territorial communities. 2 of them represent Ternopil Oblast, Vinnytsia and Volochysk, and 2 from Khmelnytskyi Oblast, Volochysk city and Ternopil city, town. Our territorial communities are in the territory of the Bruch River and are united with this river. Actually, they have a common history, common historical and cultural heritage, rich water resources, and traditions related to that. This is what unites them and what is the key for, and what is in common, what can be developed, and which has great potential for development of tourism. Right now, we can see that nowadays there are not so many good tourist products that we could propose, and quality of those services which are provided in hospitality are not that high. It's not that high, so the requirements of modern tourists are quite sophisticated. Therefore, our team, in cooperation with communities, decided to make use of the potential cultural and historical of our wonderful communities have, common history, rich water resources for the development of tourism in this region, and accordingly for the development of the economy of these territorial communities. In order to reach that objective, we had several tasks before ourselves. One of them is that we need to make a stock taking of historical heritage our 4 communities have. After that, we shall develop the network of tourist ways throughout 4 communities with special adaptation for people with disabilities. And another important task is that we would like to research and streamline the food traditions of the region, which is related with aquaculture. In the book of recipes of local cuisine, and those recipes will then be tasted in the local food catering institutions. We shall work with local entrepreneurs, artists, and we shall make a series of trainings as well as acceleration program. As a result of fulfillment of such tasks, we expect that we shall map at least 48 sites of historical and cultural heritage. We shall develop a detailed roadmap for tourist development. Accordingly, we shall have a wide network of tourist ways, tourist itineraries. 310 kilometers is our purpose with our 4 communities, and we hope that this will really happen. Even more is possible, and we shall create 4 tourist products, the tourist maps that will unite those developments that we shall have within the project, as well as online resources based on it. In addition, as I said before, we shall have the book of recipes of local cuisine, not just the recipes. Also, but after visiting the communities, you can visit local restaurants and taste those recipes, those dishes of local cuisine that we will find, that we can convey to the visitors of our communities. Also, with the help of training and as well as acceleration program, we shall be working so the sphere of hospitality will provide high-quality services in high demand, that all visitors of our communities will have the opportunity and the willingness to tell the others about the communities of Vista's Bruch, and recommend that people will return here. This is our objective, those are the tasks, and those are the results we expect. And I propose that from this minute, jointly with us, we can research the heritage of the old frontier of the rivers Bruch, to follow what will happen, and also plan the visits to our community, because there is a lot to see, and there will be the services which will be of interest. Thank you very much indeed. I feel the same, that I'm following the ways of my grandmother, Ternopil, Volyn, Khmelnytskyi. It comes to my homeland. Yep, Ternopil continues. There is still presentation of programs, because now from Ternopil Oblast Mr. Yevtushok, head of the civic organization, youth organization, Youth is the Future of Ukraine. I would like to welcome everyone, head of the civic organization, Yevtushok Igor, Youth is the Future of Ukraine. I would like to present the project to the warm Podillia region, the new cultural ways. What is the warm Podillia? This is one of the most unique regions of Ukraine, with large concentration of cultural and natural heritage. For example, Dniester River Canyon is one of the 7 natural miracles of Ukraine. Certain sites are part of Guinness Book of Records. The history of research of those territories is quite lengthy, as well as of the sites, and yet some monuments require preservation and require more attention. As you may see, this is Chervone site. And this is a castle, and Chervone site, where our itinerary will take place. Why would we like to continue our initiatives? In previous years, through our civic organization in the Warm Podillia region, more than 1,000 participants passed, veterans with families, youth and children camps, where we developed places for tourism, visited historical places, cleaned up from garbage, promoted that heritage, information support of such sites. When we have our activities in Warm Podillia, we lacked such mapping and information support. We had a similar project from dream to action, and now from idea to change, where we could and wanted to promote ideas, creating the information website. People play on mobile phones, so you can also mark with Dniester.org as a bookmark, or to look on YouTube, or at Warm Podillia, a very nice thematic website. I suggest that you visit. Also, you will see the virtual tours. Now we organized the exhibition of Podillia, which travels throughout the country. Such initiatives became a cluster of the region and supported the signing the memo of cooperation in this cluster between 15 communities of Warm Podillia. On the picture you can see the boat tours, cycling tours. On the middle picture, other stands with information support of the region. What the new project is about? The new project is consistently supporting the region of the Warm Podillia. On the lower picture, you may see how 15 communities unite of the region of Warm Podillia, and the red color marks 3 communities, Tolste, Zelishchiki, and Bilshe Zolote communities in the center of Warm Podillia, where we shall implement our project. Those are the counterparties, and the first. We have united in 3 blocks. Our project is 3 blocks, interconnected. And the main one is a new space in Tolste. On the upper picture, a museum, the folk museum, popular museum in Tolste. On the basis of that museum, we shall make the first visit center on Warm Podillia and the museum part. For museum part, there will be a re-exposition of that museum part. The second large block is local cooperation in the cluster between those 3 communities, with the expansion into 15 communities, creating and developing 5 joint tourist itineraries between the communities. And the third big block is strengthening organizational and economic capacity, creating new tourist products, new virtual reality tours. This is related to economic development. as well as the development of Warm Podillia. Also education of communities, those 3 communities, with expansion for 15 communities, that we can develop all that throughout the territory of Warm Podillia. And finally, I would like to thank UCORD project, the experts who have highly estimated our project for the opportunity to implement this project. I would like to thank our team, which could nicely describe our ideas, describe them on paper, and after that, we shall jointly implement them. And also, I welcome all the teams and wish a successful project implementation. Igor, thank you very much indeed for the project and the presentation. When I listen, I'm thinking a bit of what hard lessons were given by full-scale invasion and the war. We learned that we can work beyond our capacity. We understood that we can get together momentarily, horizontally, on every distance. Yes, indeed, part of Ukrainian society gained great experience by living abroad for a while. One of the important lessons is that we learned to appreciate ourselves, to understand what is valuable. As we looked into our culture, our communities, it's incredible. It's incredibly important achievement, which has manifested even more. So shall we keep looking? Followed by Volyn Oblast, Mr. Pachaluk from civic organization, The City Reload. You are welcome, dear friends and dear colleagues. I would like to thank for your attention to our region. My name is Taras Pachaluk. I'm head of the organization City Reload, also Reboot City, known as City Reboot, which is a main counterparty in this project together with us. In this project, there are quite many valuable and important people, and our main idea is that we create a new economic community based on the cluster of Volyn-Polissa area. This is our main objective. The main task that we solve is that today Volyn-Polissa is critically rich with natural resources. We have over 200 lakes, not speaking of the wealth of Volyn rivers, also architecture, crafts, and arts of our region. This is what we would like to convey also to local residents, the guests and the partners of this cluster, future clusters which will be created. The idea of our project is to unite 34 communities of Volyn-Polissa, and we start the work with 3 pilot communities: Lubyshiv, Shatsk, and Turisk. With them, we form the great objective to create the cluster, a new economic model of Volyn-Polissa, on which we shall base all the economy of the region, and we can create new value added and a new value of the entire region, and we can develop for 34 communities of Volyn-Polissa district. Among our objectives, first of all, is a formulation of the cluster as a sustainable legal form with participation of communities, businesses, and civic sector, also supportive development of the region, a formation of the roadmap for development of the culture, tourism, and creative economy for all 34 communities of Polissa district. We would like to form the branding which will be close for the ideological and cultural, which will reflect throughout the Polissa of Volyn. We will create value added for everyone, also local and the guests of the region. And this will be the educational context. We shall have the fora and training and education within this development. Among the key instruments and products that we need to form,
бренд самого кластеру, який
will be the brand of the cluster, which is alive and which forms around itself the wonderful people, great people, which reinforces the overall value of the sub-region of Polissa of Volyn and unites this story into a strong, independent, economically sustainable model. Among the instruments, we have implementation of online platform of Vinnytsia, brand book and guideline in order to form the identity, and also online marketplace for sale of products under the common value and unique identity outside the region and inside the region. As for the long-term impact and changes, we really take care of development of the region of Volyn, Polisia. We spend a lot of time there, and we would like to critically share this experience with Ukraine and the world. We would like to reinforce that identity. We would like to reinforce it that with such products as we have presented today, as we brought with us, which I am even have put on my jacket, that everybody has the same value and will take it with them, understanding such important things that we understand sometimes even subconsciously, and we would like to involve the communities, wide involvement of communities, small and medium businesses, to cooperate intersectorally, intermunicipally, as a statement that 34 communities potentially will form that great cluster really inspires us to do this work. We would like to speak, and we speak of sustainability and development after the project. We would like this direction to be very important for the region, that it forms the values and quite many things which are close to my heart. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for the opportunity to launch this project, and we take care of every participant. Thank you, Taras. This is Mr. Taras Pakhaluk, Civic Organization City Reboot, Volyn region. Now Vinnytsia, Mr. Pavlo Jeremy, head of the Civic Organization, Regional Development Agency of the Association of Territorial Communities of Vinnytsia Oblast. Good morning. I would like to thank UCORD for this opportunity to present our idea. Anastasia was saying that we fight for culture. We know this because the backbone of our team are the people from Tavria, from Nova Kakhovka. We have been in the occupation. When you look into the eyes of a Russian soldier, they were saying that they have brought culture. We knew that our culture is much older. And we today represent the project which is part of a much larger project. So the ways of Ternopil culture, that culture we had 6,000 years ago, and it was the strongest culture worldwide at that time, 6,000 years ago. And our key mission is economic development of small towns and villages, small town and village communities, by promotion and monetization of cultural heritage in Vinnytsia, which is great in Vinnytsia and very strong. And also through development of tourism and support of the associations of local governments, of government business, and also and the key objective to create a centers which are based on production, and which could be also the tourist, Ternopil ceramic. We would like to recover the ceramic traditions of Ternopil, Christian ceramics of Christianites. The craftsmen have remained who are ready to train people to return the ceramics of Christianites, to make it modernized, maybe. Also embroidery culture in Khmelnytskyi. The embroidery from Khmelnytskyi is unique, which was known hundreds of years ago. And there was a factory. We would like to relaunch that factory. There are some old ladies who have the skill to do it, to protect their Khmelnytskyi embroidery from being forgotten. everybody knows of Veriatom. This is a commodity which is sold abroad, and we would like to help that every person who comes to Stina from Ukraine or from abroad will receive those products and food from Ternopil in Cossacks village, unique product, which is bread, which is cooked from Cossacks times. When the Cossacks have lived, it's important for us to have that gastronomy tradition, that it keeps working. And Tulchin, as you may know, the Pototsky Palace. There we shall create a special center of exhibition, also cloth making in Stina, and also in Tulchin, to demonstrate what Vinnytsia has creatively and culturally in the Palace of Pototsky, with 3 exhibition halls. Also, educational component, we need to train project managers who will be involved in development. Because even if there is such a culture, and yet there are no people to promote this, to prepare also art exhibitions, art events, this is not really good. Therefore, we shall create the festivals, and we create ethnic catalog of products, and we shall have educational studios. And some people, and we have created the catalog in Sumy Oblast. We have the project C-Craft is a partner online platform which is on the top 3 of marketplaces to sell crafted products in the country, and we are planning to create up to 60 prototypes of new creative products. Why are we planning to do it? We know that we shall do it. Last year we did it, and we had the exhibition in Yampil on our forum with quite many new products which have been created. The marketing, the cluster products, and also tourist flows. Unlike some of our colleagues today, with this project we have been involved in 3 years. That cluster is ready with ways of Tripilia culture. It works. We had 2 exhibitions in Umань, an exhibition in Tulchin, Yampil, in the forum. And in parallel with that, we are planning that it goes on. Our partners are Ternopil Village Council, Stina for cloth making, and Kryzhopil Village Council, Tulchin Town Council, and Tulchin Cultural College, Professional College. It's important, they are among the partners. And Yampil Town Council with the ways of Tripilia culture and sea craft projects. Cannot hear because they don't speak into the microphone. I have to say, for those who watched on YouTube, that now the invitation was given to Umань-based forum focused on creative industries, and we now move forward. And we have a lot of interesting things because this is followed by Odesa Wow. This is a civic organization. Natalia Matkovskaya will discuss the project. I would like to welcome everyone from sunny city of Odessa. I have the honor to present the project. We were inspired with unique natural and medicinal features of Koyalnik park and huge energy of 3 communities around, which aspire for development. For this reason, we defined the objective to enhance social and economic and tourist and creative potential. Within the project, we would like to make a new pole of economic growth. Also, our successful experience to be given to other oblasts by creating the model of development for small and medium communities. Because this is the main body of Ukraine, there are 70%. When they unite, along with the lead magnet, which is in every community, they feel how to develop, and acquire sustainability. We shall provide the experience of the line ministry and our colleagues and all other communities, because this is very important. So what shall we have as a result? As a result, we have planned the joint concept of development. This is not just theoretical, it's practical for the strategy of Odesa Oblast, for the communities, for sectoral programs where we can find additional resources, also to resolve infrastructural problems which are always hard and require solutions. And always we should develop a project of the organization of national park. It will be important because this is a constitution which will tell us which to activate where, because we know we have the heritage with natural things and some natural constraints. Also, the cluster has been created, which is a driver of economic development, where we unite business, entrepreneurs, investors, international partners, everybody who unites into the cluster. And we have the action plan and development plan for 5 years. And the fifth is what we unite around, a new tourist itinerary, the Milky Way, new products with a website, and the description of all cultural, creative items, mapping the itineraries, 10 hectares of unique nature of the park, and special attention will be focused on the itineraries of recovery, which is important for Ukraine. As for the stages, thanks to UCORD, we can make the project summarization and analytics on Koyalnik we would like to use the experience. The entire investigation will be of practical significance for the project. Number 2 is research. Not just in the expert way, we would like to involve everyone, the experts and stakeholders, residents of communities, entrepreneurs. And we need to work on every direction and all ideas for the itineraries, that indeed all of the entrepreneurs and investors will get involved, and people will be interested to visit our itineraries to become the participants. This will also have development and sustainability. And also, I would like to focus on the team. It's very good that our team has been formed already. There is National Park, which began to operate last year, and it works very actively, united all the communities, and of course the development agency is with us. They have involved ourselves as experts in every direction. The direction of creative industries and culture. This is Odesa WOW, which has experience to develop the policies in Odesa Oblast for different communities. Also the direction of the cluster initiatives. We involve the active cluster, which has experience in unification. We are also proud about our partners, International Forum, People and Architecture. It unites the leading architects of Europe. Italian architects visited us, they know what to do, they would like to start the project. Another counterpart is civic organization, Regional Center of Sustainable Development, specializing on the development of communities. Finally, we shall be happy to see all of you. Please visit us. Please walk through the Milky Way, and we shall do our best that our Milky Way becomes the way of unity, creativeness, and recovery of Ukraine and renaissance of Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Shall we applaud to Natalia Matkovska? Please admit, honestly, so many presentations took place, and every next participant will understand. Now I will say it different. This must be revised because it was nicely discussed, and how nicely will it be for other people in the project. That comparison is very important. Even to develop in the competition, you have achieved the victory of one of the leaders is Khmelnytskyi Oblast. The Society of Germans of Khmelnytskyi Oblast, Yulia Velichanska, will present this project. You're welcome, dear colleagues. I'm project manager of civic organization, the Society of Germans of Khmelnytskyi Oblast. We shall present our project, Podil Manufacture. The purpose of our project is to recover the local artistic community in Khmelnytskyi Oblast, and this is the first initiative, unlike other oblasts. Of course, also we would like to support the crafts, which requires a lot of support and a lot of recovery. Our partnership is that we get united by unification of three territorial communities of Khmelnytskyi Oblast, Donayevets, Vinnytsia, and Khmelnytskyi community. That unification is not by chance, because those communities are united and interconnected with common local cultural heritage. I would like to note that specificity of creative arts in Khmelnytskyi, as well as in those regions that we have united, is that we have laid down a very powerful, long-term, 100 years of story of Khmelnytskyi ceramics as the history of development of cloth-making in Donayevtsi. Donayevtsi in the 19th century had the unofficial name of Podillia, of the Manchester of Podillia. In the beginning of 20th century, there have been 50 cloth-making manufacturers. Therefore, we took manufacture as name of the project. That later on we can saturate this topic with new and modern contents. The objectives of our project include creating the network of creative hubs that all will be united with this common name, Podillia manufacture. Those creative hubs are three spaces that we shall create, and we shall repair them as those spaces will start working. For the spaces to start with, to work with high quality in a structured way, in coordinated way, we shall form the development strategy of this network for 3 years by involving the specialists, the expert of branding of territories, that the network has the same vision of development. This will be the roadmap. By working with the topic of the crafts and local heritage in Khmelnytskyi, for the first time we shall propose the residents, entrepreneurs, local activists to do the activities and the events which will help and inspire entrepreneurs to work, in particular with the topic of local ceramic, because we have entrepreneurs and potters and ceramists. After that project, within the project implementation, we would like to see that it's quite promising for them to use such patterns, like Adamivsky patterns, Matritsky patterns. Actually, in the private collections abroad, the things which used to be made, have been once made in such communities, are in the museums, and they are part of cultural heritage of Ukraine. In the process of our work, we are planning to make a documentary about those craftsmen who today can be referred to and who can convey their art to the future generation. Those people are few, they are elderly. In Smotrich, this craftsman is 90 years old, and such people must be listened. We need to work with them. That can be conveyed to the younger generation unless we do it. The history of Adamivska, Smotricka ceramics, the history of cloth making in Donayevtsi will disappear. In the process of implementation, we plan to create an informal program of education that we shall provide for implementation for their vocational schools that work with students on the topic of creative industries, creative segment, also decorative and art, decoration art. This will help the younger generation to focus their attention on their promising areas, so that they can develop in their creativity through crafts, cloth making, pottery, with a focus on the local specificity, local speciality.
В основі взагалі нашого проекту на початку лягла в основу проекту ідея, яка належить відомому
The idea which belongs to the well-known historian and local researcher. He is the ambassador of pottery in Khmelnytskyi. I would like to applaud him. He is with us in the room.
І от за ініціативи Ігоря
With initiative of Ihor, in the process of project implementation, we shall work on creating a single itinerary, a tourist itinerary, cultural and tourist product, which will unite. Actually, territorially, and they are close, and that history and territorial proximity will be the basis to create, first of all, the tourist agencies don't work with them, and we create that itinerary which we shall give to tourist agencies, and we are convinced that it's a popular itinerary. The tourists using it will visit our creative hubs, and practically we'll have a look how it develops when ceramic product is created or the craft product is created. Therefore, we shall develop the educational segment, and we shall develop tourist segment, and we shall train, we shall learn, and we shall revive this tradition via support of the generation of craftsmen who are quite old, and we need to keep the memory of those craftsmen with the help of this project. I would like to thank for the supporting of our initiative, because in Khmelnytskyi we are the first one to do it. Actually, we shall be the first to follow this way, which is full of excitement, and we are confident that this will be a success, and this is a successful project. Actually, this network will develop like franchise. Our other communities after the end of the project can connect to the network, and also open creative hubs in other territorial communities. I would like to thank the Embassy of Switzerland, would like to thank UCORD, would like to thank the Agency for Regional Development of Khmelnytskyi Oblast for consultancy support and the moral support, because we have a friendly and nice atmosphere where we would like to work, and one can be supported, and this will be the basis. You can always get a support. Yuria Vilchanska, Khmelnytskyi Oblast. And the final story also about Khmelnytsk, the Export Alliance Ukrainian wedding dresses. Marina Vasilyeva, Director of Civic Organization. Good morning. In order to explain our project, I would like to discuss the history, because for the last years I understood that nobody in Ukraine knows of this niche, such as the wedding dresses. For the last 20 years, Ukrainian producers of wedding dresses have occupied 100% of Ukrainian market, which is our great contribution. 20 years ago, every fiancé was coming to the store saying, I would like the wedding dress from Italy, from US. And now you can go to any store. You won't find any dress except for Ukrainian. In addition to occupying Ukrainian market, we also occupy European market. We develop actively there. As the counterparties of Europe, we compete not against European manufacturers, because historically there are no manufacturers of wedding dresses. There are only China, Turkey, and now Ukraine. There are 3 countries which produce wedding dresses, and we are fighting for the first place worldwide for manufacturing of wedding dresses. Why this particular story? Because I say we have been on the forum 2 years ago. In the room, there were representatives of the light industry, and there were 500 people. And my colleague from Chernivtsi was saying that we would like to compete in Europe actively for being #1. I was in this room just for support. The people have laughed. I did not understand why. 500 people who produce in the light industry they love 500 people from the sector of light industry, cloth making. Those are also brands of Ukraine, occupy 11% of Ukrainian market. The light industry in the market of Ukraine occupies 11%, and the rest is Turkey, China, and Poland. Why they love from the niche which is next to them, which occupies 100% of its market? Because nobody knows how great, how powerful we are. Even when Mr. Zelensky visits us, of course, it is not on time, and we say, well, there is an issue you can be proud of. Because when we speak of the on agriculture and grain and vegetable oil, that's community with no value added. We are the only product in Ukraine which has value added, and which developing not just as a community, also develop with our brands. Actually, I would like to research the history of Ukrainian wedding dress, the white dress. When I speak to Orange, Khmelnytskyi, everything comes from Khmelnytskyi. Also wedding dresses was the entire Soviet Union, former Soviet Union. Millions of wedding dresses were made in Khmelnytskyi and Chernivtsi. I am asking them, Angela, you are in the third generation. They say, well, my grandmother did the same. I say, well, why your grandmother began doing that? I say, I don't know. And I spoke to the manufacturers of flowers for their hairdressing. That grandmother, my grandmother, I don't know why. But my mom is 80. I will ask from her, and I am very excited that our grandmothers in Ukraine have laid down the technology of cloth making, because the wedding dress is not the same as T-shirt. Then our parents came. They did a great thing. Such a choice of commodity as we have in Ukraine for wedding dresses, believe me, is available from nowhere. No Milano, no US. I go to Shanghai, a great exhibition. No such a choice of commodity. It's important. They could not make them anywhere because they had no commodity. In none of the countries, none of the capital cities, not speaking of the former Soviet Union, they had the commodity. Therefore, in our region, we had the commodity, and it was so powerful. The question is, why we had the commodity? Nobody knows. We need to research why did we have the commodity. During this project, I would like to make in-depth research why it is like that. Also, I would like to talk to representatives of the international exhibitions who 15 years ago did not allow us. Actually, we love them, and yet they put Ukraine some third room under the fourth, next to the fourth toilet. When I went to Barcelona 3 weeks ago to the exhibition, you can congratulate. We occupy up to 50% of the entire largest wedding ceremony exhibition of the world. I'm working actively. I take our consul Oleg. I take him, and he makes the outposts. The same with Milano, the same with Rome, the same with Chicago. I know all of them, and they must know what can we be proud of because we are number one. I would like to create a book. This will be both a book, the reference book, the daily book, which can be put, which can be placed. Every consul, every ambassador can take this book and present as a gift to any country, and they will say we have an issue which is number one. When we make the interview of those people, we can make a movie, and that movie, it will be short, and we will show it to Europeans, and we shall say, well, it's not by chance that we become country number one. It's not by chance because we have great history. Because we shall make a promotion on the international events such as Barcelona, because in addition we shall have the museum of wedding dresses, how they have evolved. We shall show that movie that Europeans will understand why Ukraine, not any other country, must be first. For our partners, we made the virtual museum. we shall make virtual museum wedding dresses when you make 3D glasses. I think it's our future. When I go to Universal Studio to America, I'm wearing such glasses. I understand this is our future. This year I went to Dubai, I had those glasses, and I say, well, we need to bring those wedding dresses there. We made virtual museum for the future. Took a suitcase, 6 pairs of glasses, went to Shanghai exhibition of wedding dresses, demonstrated our Ukrainian dresses for China. I think it has future, but first we shall make the evolution of wedding dresses. About our partners, I enjoy our partners. Those are manufacturers of wedding dresses. All manufacturers of wedding dresses in Khmelnytskyi made strategic session independently with no donors because I would like to thank the donors for great support. Yet all of the projects that we make, I would like them to live even with donors or with no donors. We have initiated this initiative by the City Hall 5 years ago. They helped us to organize our exhibition of wedding dresses in Paris, in the house of Ukrainian house in Paris. They invited us, which we made the presentation with support of Khmelnytskyi City Hall. Our university provides good specialists. Everybody complains that they train bad specialists who are now not suitable, who are not needed. Our ones even they learn in our institute. They learn those professions that we need. And I even second the lady, they understand why Khmelnytskyi City Hall, because the story began from Khmelnytskyi, and simply we need to research this. The IT cluster, as you may understand, this is a museum. It must be supported, it will be created and supported. I would like to show the video. Before that, I will see the picture, which you can see here. This is with no grant support. This is an event which we made last year, in 2024 in Italy. Why here? Because we have brought together a lot of models of wedding dresses for the last 20 years, which have been in Italy. Where there is Italy, there is entire Europe. We would like to welcome you more than 80 models at the same time of wedding dresses, all of Ukrainian origin. And now I would like to show the video. Why would I like to show this video? Because we have quite many projects, we did it, we could do it. This is our first project for the entire history of independent Ukraine. When we have united 24 competitors, it took me 10 years of my life that the competitors come together to talk. Because when I went to them, when I visited competitors, they said, well, nobody communicates with anyone. For 10 years, I was talking to them, saying, shall we stay together? Because we can be powerful as they stay together. In 10 years, we made a project which will be part of the history, because this is the first project when Ukrainians, the competitors, came together and made the event in Europe. Before that, all Ukrainians, not just the wedding sector, also in light industry. We always join Milano Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, and this event was organized on our own, and we have brought together 300 buyers from Europe. And this year we make the event, 27th of October, we make the event in the Castle of the King. It took us half a year to allow us to take the location. Of course, they also would like to promote. We make it the Castle of the King. The next will be Versailles, so we have a long way to go, and we have planned 600, 800 buyers from throughout Europe. And we would like to show the first show for you to have a look how it happens in the history. Is that final? I would like to say that here there was a great team. They all have been Ukrainians. The director, quite many models, the makeup makers, the entire team from Ukraine. Because I believe that the team and quite many projects are based on people. I would like to thank the person with great heart, Katerina, that's you, because I'm grateful to you. I rarely see people who are ready to fight for their country. And they are oblasts. My children comes first, then my job, then my city, then my oblast, then my Ukraine. And I appreciate Katya because she's a patriot. She wants to also struggle for our oblast. Those people are valuable. We need to collect them one by one throughout the world. I'm grateful to you for enabling us to start this project. All of the projects, this is my soul, and I can see only a great continuation of it in each of those points which I wrote the book, the museum, can also see that we can preserve it for quite many years. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Marina. We all are now charged right now because we can charge the electric power plant with this energy because now we have the great Ukrainian market. Thank you very much for contentful presentations. I have marked few questions I would like to ask and to find more or exchange contacts. Actually, we shall have time for that because ahead of us there is a time of networking, there is time of lunch. We have 1 hour for that till 1300. And this is followed by important part of what we can learn, what will be useful for project implementation. Right now, we can communicate to switch and to refresh at 1300. We shall reconvene. I would like to focus your attention that this will be in a different room from another side. Probably you saw it. It will be behind the curtains, next to the place where we had the picture taken, where we had coffee. It is called the Playground Hall. And there will be the continuation of our more working, more concentrated part of our communication. In the same way, I would like to those who have arrived, who did not receive their reimbursement for the business trip, please come to the registration desk. It will be even greater. Shall we see each other in 1 hour?